Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is Saturday, May the 16th. I am in Montgomery, Alabama. There's a national call to action for voting rights today happening down here. It's going to start in Selma, Alabama, and continue on to Montgomery at a rallying point later on in the day. Since I was that close and I have close ties down here, I made a phone call or two. I was plugged in, so I was like, well, I'm gonna shoot down and see what I can see. Hopefully, I can get some stills, maybe an interview or two. Then I got to cut out because I really had something else to do today back in Atlanta, so I will not be here long. But I at least wanted to be on the ground to get some stills and again potentially some interviews before this day was over. This fight is getting thicker and thicker, worse by the day. As we all know, the redistricting fight is hot, heavy. We have a guest come. We have a guest scheduled to come on today to talk about same, and we will go from there. We need to cut out the BS this morning though, because this is a very important day. Thomas Berry, your son has done it. Congratulations,
man. This is the day of days, man. And I want to say this, man, because I typically hit up more people, but I got a short period of time today. So hopefully that I can do this. And then what I'll do is to make sure that the stream is still rolling on my end for those people is I will just I'll take the camera and the mic out, but people can still listen and talk to everybody else, or they can go to Real Radio and actually or go to Lee's page and listen as well. But with that being said, man, today's a major day. My oldest boy, Rondé, is graduating from law school. I'm so proud of my boy, but so scared at the same time. This has been like the most sleepless nights for me as a father the last 2-3 days. I talked to his mother yesterday and I just told her flat out, like, yo, I worry. Because I know this world that we live in now, and I know what type of child I have. I know what how he's built. And when he was 5 years old, man, he asked me in the back of a car, we were riding the Target, and he just asked me simply like, Dad, if there's more people of color in the world than white people, then why do white people own everything? That don't seem right.
Ooh.
He asked that at 5 years old.
Ooh.
And so he had the analytical skills to analyze and see what was going on in the world and ask those type of questions. You don't have black adults that's running around here asking those questions today. They just assume things are the way that they are because there's something wrong with other people. But that's the thing with children. Children can see things in its purest form. Fast forward to another year later, we're going to an event. Not going to an event. We're at a Cub Foods right there on Lake Street, right by the Target. Me, him, his mother, and him. Me, him, his mother. We're going through this, and he's just talking, and he's talking to his mother now. He's just talking. And he was talking like one of those points where we were just, she was exhausted because she had just got off work. And I probably was just in the store, just doing what I typically do, let them have at it. And once again, this older sister had walked up to us, and she said, "Don't stop that baby from talking. Let him keep talking, because one day that talking, that's gonna make him money. And don't you never stop him from talking. Don't punish him from talking. Don't let them tell him he's talking too much."
Yep.
All right. We'll go to a doctor's appointment. It's me, him, and then I'm just, once again, this dude is grilling. Like, this is all setting up for today. This man is debating me on why do we say beating people up when really you're beating people down. Right. And then he said, I think I got to ask the question, why are we calling ourselves black? Because I can look at our skin tone and say that we're brown. Who came up with this concept? So these are the questions that he had at 5 years old. And we are debating at 5 years old. And I know everybody who was at Abbott Northwestern inside of that room was wondering, like, why is this man and his 5-year-old just debating? But this is just who he was. And once again, the elder told us not to stop him from talking. Okay. I say that to everyone to say that this is the piece of fatherhood, parenthood, motherhood. His mother's just as proud as I am. Everybody in our surrounding circle is just as proud of him as I am. And I tell you, it does take a village. everybody who comes in contact with your child that you have on a day-to-day basis, intimate circles, it all matters. I tell everybody who's come in contact, who hugged my son, who said encouraging things to my son, who loved on my son, to say, hey, this is a we thing. Yes, he did the work, but it takes us all to hold him up, push him through, and then continue to support him on this trajectory and journey. But these have been the most sleepless nights I've had as a father the past few days. And it's not because of my child. It's not because of my child. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I just know this nasty, disgusting, dirty ass world that he's about to be embarked into, who see black men for only what you can do for them. The litmus test of every day proving your manhood when nobody else has to prove their womanhood, their statehood, etc. Every day for a black man, you have to prove you're a man. You can't fail upwards. You can't fail upwards. The higher you go, the more expected from you.
Mm.
And so I worry, these are one of those things that, man, like I said, man, I last night I cried. It's those chapters where as a father you feel like, okay, your child is going somewhere where you probably cannot protect him from the rest of the world at this point. I could at before he walks across this stage and he goes into his professional life, by association to me or by the gun, I could protect my child. That's over. When he walks across and he grabs that diploma, those things I probably could pull some strings, but truth in the matter is he's going somewhere where he's going onto the shelf where I probably can't reach it anymore, even with a ladder. And so those are the things that I worry about as a father, that most men worry about, that we don't get to express or to say that. I am going to be glad to be, with the rest of the family, watching him get that last diploma or degree. But it's just, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's just crazy. And yeah, man, it's just for me, I can't say it no more. I'm so happy for him. I'm so proud of him because he's my oldest child. So he sets the tone for the rest of them. And talking to my daughter yesterday, I'm like, yo, this is what it's going to be like when you finish med school. When you finish med school, stick with your dreams. Don't let nobody else deter you. Be like your brother. Do what your brother did. Be stubborn in what you want to do. Fuck what everybody else talking about. They got a better idea for you. They don't got no better idea. This is what you want. Don't let nobody, whether it's myself, your mother, some boy you're talking to, some of your homegirls, like, if that's your dream is to be a doctor, be a doctor. Until you say you don't want to be, and that has to come from you, then you do it. And so I'm just proud of my boy, man. I only had a few minutes because I got to get dressed. These folks out here getting jazzy to go to the Western name. I was just gonna throw on some a windbreaker.
Polo with some jeans.
Yo, because hey, man, you know me, man. I'm like, listen, but I'm gonna get dressed up and I'm gonna do it. But I just,
couple
I'm
couple
just,
things before you go, if you don't mind.
mhm.
First and foremost, congratulations to him.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Roughly 2 years ago, I sat in a seat close to you. My son walked across the stage and grabbed his doctorate, my oldest.
Mm.
And I'm standing there in amazement that, first off, this boy is now a grown ass man. Let's be clear about that.
Facts.
And then the second part of it is he was working at the White House at the time.
Mm.
Yeah, he was working at the White House at the time. He does medical policy.
Okay.
Yeah, man. He doing his thing.
Doing it down.
And my concern was what would happen with if when the administration changed over. We know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he got out. And yeah, it is a overflowing pot of emotion. I was definitely Man, I was a cloud nine when that boy grabbed it. When they called that boy's name, he walked across that stage, and I saw that. I was there for him. I was there with him. That was definitely amazing. Enjoy everything that's to come, brother. Again, appreciate you and your time. Appreciate the young man sticking to his guns and doing his thing. We will be okay on this end. Brother Marlon's here. Sister Rashi's here. That's all I need. That's all I need, Brother Marlon.
And I just,
Is
if
Sister
you'll
Rashi?
allow me to finish off, good morning, brothers.
Yes.
Well, your son has carried on in what has to be one of our strongest fights. Remember, Neely Fuller Jr. explained to us the realms in which we are being disenfranchised in the world and in this nation. And the law, I do believe, is number two, if not number one. You understand?
Mhm.
He's chosen his vein of the struggle, and I just want to champion you to always have his back, brother, even when it looks like he has accepted representation for someone who you feel does not deserve the full auspices of the law. He is beholden himself to a cause higher than regular street reasoning, because justice, order, truth, reciprocity, those are the fundamental ideologies of what it takes to withhold a civilization. And if you do it right, you withhold the civilization and uphold our people as well. And I just hope you see that manifested in your son's work, Brother Barry, because it is one of our lesser understood veins of struggle. Okay. But if you get in there good, may he reign in the words of Johnny Cochran, right? May he be our next Thurgood Marshall. May he be our next. I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing about Tom ass Clarence, but you know what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
law takes you to the presidency, as understood by Barack Hussein Obama. And so, once you understand the justice, reciprocity, truth, and all that, you can go anywhere in this reality. I'm so glad your son chose to use his mind in a way that it could actually benefit not just him financially, but us collectively as a people.
Thank you.
Take care, brother. Do you think?
Hey, let me just say this too, because I'm
Okay.
on, so I got 3 more minutes. I got 3 more minutes. Thank you, Mom. I do want to say this because I know you guys got a lot to talk about today, but I just want to say this about our people at this moment. I am shocked that we spent the last 2 weeks talking about Cheyenne Brown in the way that we have.
Why are you trying to steal the thunder? You know I was going into that.
I want to revisit this term called narcissism. And I want to tell you, it's an old saying that kids would have on the playground: if you smelt it, you dealt it. And I'm going to tell you, this week we've seen a lot of dealers who dealt it. Narcissism. Y'all dealt it. I know a lot of the brothers was getting the blame for narcissism, but Rashi was talking about, my son getting his degree and how it's going to help us. I hope my son doesn't get his degree and think that brings him closer to acceptance to whiteness. Watch black people debate and argue about who has a degree and who does not have a degree versus the merit of the argument. Now, Cheyenne Bryan argument was trash. Let's start there. Getting in a tub naked with a man to test him to see his restraint, childish. But if you bought it, whether she has a PhD, a GED, or whatever she got, that's just some stupid shit. And for us to sit at a time when we're losing rights for acceptance to a system that is stripping things away from us, and our brightest, our most intellectual group of people who have PhDs are having this discussion, I think they should diagnose themselves at this moment. And I will say this to brothers out there, because we've been getting hit hard. I had to think about, there was a term that was used on the plantation when we wanted to get free. It's called drapedemonia. They would say any slave who wanted to get free should be diagnosed with this mental illness called drapedemonia, because why would you want to stay on the plantation? And I will tell you, this week I realized maybe we don't need as much therapy as they say we do. I think the therapists need the therapy that they're trying to sell to us, because y'all look batshit crazy talking about institutions that have refused to give us our proper. And you're not talking about how many of you are licensed to not diagnose our people, but to diagnose other people. But hey, my time is up. I just wanted to share that piece. I hope everybody is well. Peace and love, man. I'm so proud of my boy. I'm just going to drop off and go to the black. But if you want,
Take plenty pictures.
man, listen, I'm gonna
Take
try to.
plenty of pictures.
Hey, man, if y'all who can let me delete some of these things so I get my emails coming back, man. But ain't that something they trying to charge? They trying to charge for this space now.
Yes. Google, Gmail does the same thing. Google does the same thing.
The hustle is real. So but with that being said, y'all, man, I appreciate y'all. I know Rashi's son graduated from high school last year. We were happy about that. Lee, salute to your boy. I didn't know he was working in the White House, so he was like,
yeah, we'll talk about that.
yeah. So salute to your child as well, and salute to my boy Rondé, man. Today is everything about him. And like I said, man,
yes,
as a father, these are the things that I just gave y'all a glimpse, because these are the things we don't talk about as dads, our fears, our love for our children. And I'm dead serious. I cried last night because I'm worried about my boy, not because of him. I'm worried about this society. So with that being said, y'all be smooth, man. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it up. Do the most with it today. And thank God for allowing us, man. No.
Eat it up.
Yeah. But y'all, man, y'all be peace.
All right, thank you, family. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping in. Again, man, we didn't know how long we were gonna have time. It's understood we were not gonna have him for a long period of time, and that's what's up. We were able to have him on at all today to big up his son is amazing. That is one hell of an accomplishment. Like I was insistent to him. I was like, yo, if you give me 5 minutes, I don't give a damn. Just give me something, because we need to see that. We need to talk about that. You know, him sharing his fears, his concerns about the future of his son, not because of what he's doing, but the fact that he's entering this harsh and cold, cruel world is a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, um, Rodney's trying again. He said the link wasn't working. Rashi, can you send it to him, or do I need to send it to him? Okay. But anyhow, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it was. Look at you! Look at you! We can see you, Rashi. Look at you! Look, you must got a cold new piece. You must got a cold new piece. Anyhow, definitely wanted to put that out there in the universe and the stratosphere, y'all, because this is the time. This is the time for us to understand just how connected we are and just how beneficial we are to one another if we operate with one another. It can happen. I know it's tough because we are taught and trained not to trust one another, but it can happen. So I'm trying to email Rodney on the slide. Sorry, y'all. Anyhow, we do want to talk about the redistricting. We do want to talk about Trump's meeting in China with Xi. We do want to talk about the ongoing conflict in Iran. We do have a guest. Sorry, Rashi. We do have a guest scheduled to come on later on today. So this is where we are for today. Again, I'm in Montgomery, Alabama, trying to get some stills, and if not some more interviews, I'm sorry, for the rally that's happening here today about the redistricting fight. So God willing, the creek don't rise. I'm able to get that before I have to cut out and go back to Georgia. Last week, I was back in Baltimore. There was another Black Wall Street event that we did, and I didn't even know about this place where we did it at. It's actually a yachting club in Baltimore County near Sparrows Point, which is close to a housing project called Turner Station. Historical spot. It was actually considered to be trash and was given to a group of black men in order to figure it out. That this is what the white guys say. It's like, we ain't giving you the good spot over here, but we'll give you the BS spot over there. And if you all can figure it out, then you can have it. Well, they figured it out. And they did a hell of a job figuring it out. It is lovely over there. Never even knew about the spot for real. It was cool, man. The elder there, 96, I believe. He's 96 years old, and he was one of the original founders of the spot. He um, he's still mobile. He doesn't have a cane. He doesn't have a walker. Yeah, he's walking slow. He's 96, so he ain't going but so damn fast. But still, it was beautiful being in his presence and being in the presence of everyone else that was there. They're very much committed to that organization and that locale. It was good to see. It was very good to see. It was heartwarming, and it just further cements the connection of black folks to the water. I ain't one of them dudes. Like, I'm not one of them water people. I don't need to be no damn water. They don't do nothing for me. But I know a lot of us are. We just love ourselves some damn water. So that's where we at with that. Ronnie, I got you now. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know what
um,
was going down, Lee. I'm sorry.
no, it's
He and
okay.
I both were trying to manipulate that link, and it was behaving kind of
It's
poorly.
okay. It's okay. Martin said we also need to talk about the two Justins in Tennessee. We'll talk about that. So this week, I searched with a guy from Alabama to come on. Next week, I searched with somebody from Tennessee to come on. We got you. We got it all lined up. Hopefully, everything goes as it should, and we'll go from there. But not to go too far off the course. Uh, again, let's recognize that Thomas's son is making a huge accomplishment. We are here for that for today. That's a big thing, not only for his family, but potentially countless other families. And we hope to see that young man in a courtroom near you real soon. You know, who says he cannot be the next Johnny Cochran, or uh, let us there say Ben Crump or someone of that nature. You know, so that's what's up.
I had
Yeah.
forgot about OBM when I was telling him. I was like, man, I forgot. I know I'm forgetting somebody. I went all the way to Thurgood. But Ben Crump, that's who I was talking about with my boy Ben.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. So, on a nationwide scale, we are seeing a scramble for redistricting of electoral maps before the midterms. We've gotten the green light from SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States of America, that for all intents and purposes has totally gutted the Voting Rights Act. This has triggered redistricting in most southern states. Louisiana's on the fast track.
Missouri.
Florida's talking about doing one soon. Georgia has not as of yet. Alabama is going through the fight. Tennessee is going through the fight,
Missouri is going through the fight.
and so on and so forth. Sadly, yesterday, SCOTUS refused to hear the emergency request from the state of Virginia that looked to overturn Virginia Supreme Court's ruling that the new redistricting map, voted on and approved by voters, could not take effect. So the Supreme Court of Virginia voted it down, saying this ain't gonna happen. Boom, boom. The state appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States. They said, nope, we ain't touching it. What they said goes, and that's what it is. I don't know where this ends. And I'm looking at this, and I have to be thinking about the bigger play, right? So is this just about the election now, or is this about lining Congress for a two-third vote to change the Constitution to not only remove the rights of Black folks to vote, but to remove the rights for Black folks to be counted as citizens in the United States of America? Because there's no way you're going to tell me at this point that everybody can see, as Rodney has said from day one, this is all about us. This is all a fight about us. I think a lot of folks believe we got too big for our britches, and they are trying to knock us back down. Rodney, what's your thoughts?
Uh, what you said, 100. I have, it's pretty obvious, and they're on their way. And I think that we should expect more of it until we feel enough pain to do what's necessary to stop it.
Now, what does that look like? Because I think the pain threshold is very high because most folks are not paying attention. So I don't think that they see it in order to be mobilized or in order to catch the fact that it's actually causing them pain. I think so many folks have checked out because of past grievances, because of social media, that they've checked out. They really don't get it. I honestly believe most folks really don't get it. They don't really see it. And I don't know if it's a I don't care or if it really is a they gonna do what they want to do. So I just gotta figure out how to live through it or with it. Not understanding that potentially you will not be able to live. Like literally, you will not be able to live. Like literally, these folks are getting to an apex where they can tell you what to do, where to go. When sundown towns may come back. I'm just saying, anything at this point is freaking possible. Anything is freaking possible at this point. You just don't know what's going to happen next, and I think that's a part of the issue as well because we don't know. This cat is so erratic. Um, but shucks, I've said him recalling troops from overseas was not was a calculated move. Where are those troops going to go? They're not going to the Pacific. I haven't seen that yet. They're coming back to America. And why are they coming back to America? They're coming back to America in order to reinforce the foolishness that he may declare. And we've been tested. We being military folk, I still consider myself a part of that family. We've been tested. We've been tested following these bullcrap orders to shoot these damn speedboats, whom allegedly had drugs on. We have no freaking idea because we used a big ass missile to crash a little ass boat. Like how that makes sense? How that makes sense? We've been tested when here we are now beyond 90 days and the secretary of defense, I'm not calling him that bullshit title that he wants to go by, is trying to skirt Congress and their congressional duties and rules by declaring that it's not been 90 days because there was a ceasefire. What the hell does that mean? If troops are still forward deployed, it's an active zone. Never heard that defense before in my life. Where does that come from? So that's my concern. My concern, like Thomas said, I'm getting more and more worried, to be honest with you. Because I'm looking at folks, I'm looking around, I'm seeing folks, and they are not moving. Like this shit is real. They are moving. This is a game. And ain't nobody playing outside. Rashi, what are you seeing in Missouri?
All right, so there's quite a bit of movement here. We are lining the streets, sending the signs, calling the people, lining up ourselves in Jefferson City. The issue I want to say is that Missouri is still an extremely white state. Now, that agricultural portion that keeps us alive, the fact that we are part of the breadbasket of America, that bread is being made by white folk. And so we have not established. Okay, so now look, if you really want to swing your state, meaning you want to take your state from all either side, honestly, you have to, and I sound like a FBI agent, but never mind. You have to get in there and integrate those different industries. Meaning, if we really want to swing Missouri and make sure that we're not redrawing Missouri in some weird jagged ass configuration so that we can monopolize and dilute the black vote, we got to start farming. We have to take over some of those. We have to become part of the bread basket, because if it's there in those future farming of America activities and down at the whatever the American, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about, where them farmers be.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you have the conversations with them that let you understand that you have a common goal, feeding America, quite possibly the rest of the world, and that politicizing feeding people is wrong. You cannot mix feeding people and politics. It don't mix together, or else you're part of the problem. Okay, so then also we have to get into, like Thomas Berry's son, we have to go into law, right? If you got enough lawyers in the room in those smoky cigar rooms with the bourbons, okay, then you can start seeding the mindset of young lawyers and whatnot with what could be just, and then you don't have all them Brett Kavanaughs and whatnot sitting there waiting to be hired. They come with their friend Tyrone they met in college. You understand? It comes,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it sounds sick what I'm trying to say, but it's the only thing I know. And the last not but not least, we're gonna have to we're gonna have more mixed breed babies. We're gonna
Mm.
have to. I know. Just look, just hold on what I'm saying. Hold
Okay,
on.
keep going.
Please let me substantiate my argument. And no, I'm not saying only. I'm just saying the integration of us into these nuclear families that have been able to go years, decades, centuries without having to deal with us in their bloodline. That is why they are able to draw that us them dichotomy. It's because there is no us in them. So when we finally catch Susie slipping and we swell her up, we gotta. I don't know. I'm not. It's not completely fleshed out, but I know what I'm talking about. It is an integration. As long as we're trying to big up on just our side, it don't work. The only way to fail this system and get it back recalibrated is to integrate the systems that are so now the part was redistricting, right? In Missouri, they redrawing it Missouri with this jagged knife like. If you please type in, for those who looking, type in Missouri redistricting, right? And you'll
Mm-hmm.
see that it goes from Kansas City, and it does this like almost jagged knife like projection into the state of Missouri, stopping at St. Louis, because essentially holding a knife to the throat of St. Louis. Okay, just look at that motherfucker and tell me I ain't saying something. Look at it.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Like, okay, so
Did
now
they try to redraw St. Louis's?
I don't even
Uh,
know if I don't think that's scared. I think they scared to ask the people to come out to draw the line, because they'll shoot that damn paper out your hand in St. Louis. Like, you don't understand. The Louis not to be fucked. Okay.
the Lewis not at all.
Please don't go. Okay. I done lost so many people there. I don't even fucking call it a place. It's literally the dead zone. I call it the demilitarized zone. It's the D zone.
Mm. Okay. Oh yeah,
Anyway,
Rodney made a face. So Rodney, if you've never been to St. Louis, she is not exaggerating. Like St. The Lou is not to be played with. It is not a place that you
not
just
just not just like not just for bullet ball. They do play bullet ball. That's not it.
bullet
They
ball.
that's what when they shooting the streets up all day like it's a sport. I'm talking about they not to be fucked with legislatively either.
Oh, okay, I
Black
got you.
folks been infiltrated the legislation of St. Louis. You can't just go in there. It's like the mafia. You understand? It's not it's black mafia. You not finna go in there uh and come through talking about, all right, let's redraw this and put the niggas on the other side of Natural Bridge. It won't happen. It won't happen. Okay.
Gotcha.
So, but in Kansas City you can. In Kansas City you can almost totally absorb us by including farmlands and whatnot further east of us, right? That already have our financial holding because we send in the niggas that do wrong in Kansas City. We're sending them to those areas of Chillicothe and other minor small towns that have got their money by creating by booming up the prison
Okay.
industrial complex and stuff like that, right? But
Right.
that's the only way they got us. They got us in the prison there. So it ain't enough of us free in the towns to say no, we are our own established district. They are absorbing us not just free in the city of Kansas City, but like sucking our black men vote in in those prisons in those small towns.
Okay.
So we don't have enough fight throughout the state of Missouri for that. Ain't nobody got no smoke for it really in Jeff City. They so busy trying to figure out what had happened was. But
Right.
in St. Louis, like I said, is when you come for the Lou, you have to have this shit already worked out what they do in the Kansas City before you can go and try to sway St. Louis ideology into carving a city up in between them and those. But
Okay. So
KC, it's them and those.
I want to get into that to a bit, to a degree, and go back to something that Marlon said. Rodney, I'm calling on you here. So, what I've heard, what I've seen, what I've read over the past couple of days, week or so, black college athletes should not attend schools in districts or states where um, your vote doesn't count. The proposal is far reaching, right? That's a very high bar for young folk, I believe, to grab onto and support. This is where, Rodney, our conversations come into play, though. If they're not going to do so, who will? If these young folks, whom are talented, do not take their talents to other institutions, they don't have to come out of D1 schools. Just don't go to the SEC. Because this is where the majority of this redistricting push is happening right now in SEC school land, right? So why not go to Oregon? Why not go to Michigan? Why not go to bring your talents to Notre Dame, baby? We would love to have you. Ohio State, Penn State. There are a lot of other schools that you can go to that get the same amount of coverage on television, have the same booster pool. The NIL money is the NIL money. You're gonna get it no matter where you go. And the NFL, just like the NBA, they are doing much better at finding you. So regardless of where you are, they will find you if you're good. Do you think these young folks are tuned in enough to do such a thing? What do you think, Rodney?
I don't think there's enough, but I do think there is some. But I think that even that's not going far enough. They, to do what I've read, is isolate the southern states, basically, the former Confederate states. And I do think that's a half step. It is moving in the right direction, but it's not enough because you need to put pressure on the whole enterprise. So they should only go to HBCUs. They should
Mm,
only take their talents to HBCUs, like the way it used to be before white people discovered just how good black people were. They recruited them out of HBCUs. And so if the black students are serious, truly serious about this, they need to put pressure not just on the bad guys. They need to put pressure on the good guys to act like good guys. In other words, they'll be in the fight by themselves if they just sort of say, no, we're not going to go to the former Confederate states. That it's something. But how about put the pressure on the whole system to force the moderates, the liberates, remember a letter from Birmingham jail? I think that applies here. Go take the full step, go all out.
Hmm. Okay. Marlon, I was going there. So Marlon says we have to crowdfund HBCUs. I was going there because the difference is the money. The NIL money usually comes from boosters. I don't see that money being the same HBCUs as predominantly white institutions. Like it or not, the majority of these kids, especially those with skills, are paying for the dollar because they understand that they can get hurt at any time. And if they going out here and putting their bodies on the line, their potential earning power on the line for you, you got to compensate them for that. And I understand where they're coming from. I think Dion made a great inroad um, in getting HBCUs to understand that if you put your money here, we will get the quality kids that we've been wanting and needing, and we will be a power to be reckoned with. Marlon made another point. Most of the HBCUs are in the southern states. You're absolutely right. The vast majority of them are. So they would still be in the system, the belly of the beast, if you will. How do we get them out and really flex that muscle um, in places or spaces that they are being welcomed in, not just tolerated or celebrated, not tolerated, right?
Hey, Thomas.
This,
Yeah. Hold on. Thomas Drake
right.
did drop his new albums. He dropped three of them in a row, but it's only three hits on each album. So yeah, he doing the work, but he'll never recover from what Kendrick Lamar did to him. So let's. Okay, I'm sorry. He the one brought it up. Sorry. Can we move on? Bye. Sorry.
Oh my god. So yeah, okay. So since you broached it, yeah, Drake did drop three albums, and you're right. There only about three hits on. While I listened to him, I tell you
I
what, he
mean,
did the
black
right
on black
thing.
crime. It was black on black. It's black on brown. It was black on beige crime. And
Right. He
so,
did. He did the right thing by staying in his lane, not trying to jump on. But let's stick with the conversation. What I'm seeing though is folks whom are steady partying, and this is what going back to what I said earlier. Folks are steady partying. They're planning for partying. Folks aren't planning for voting. Folks aren't planning for what happens if there is not a change in direction come this November. Okay, even if that doesn't happen, what happens if there's not a change in direction after the next presidential election because this clown declares a state of emergency and says that folks can't come. I need to put everybody on pause because Pastor Sharpton is on, and we've been waiting for him. He's our guest this morning. Pastor Sharpton, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm in the middle of the march here with, as you can see, a whole bunch of folks here in Selma, Alabama. So we're doing the march now to the bridge, and we'll be praying there at the bridge and doing the reenactment just as Dr. Kingdom did, praying at the bridge, and then we're on our way to Montgomery to do the speaking and all that. About 5,000 people then came here, and I'm very glad to see them. But the question is, what are they leaving? What are they depositing? What are they imparting? And what are they taking away?
There you
So
go.
that they could take it back to their communities and, continue to organize, strategize, and teach and educate. So this is where we are. We're in the same moment now that they were in a different time. We're not in rotary phones no more. We're in mobile phones as I'm talking to you now during the march.
Yes, sir.
We're not looking at clocks. We got timers now. We got drones up in the sky taking pictures of us right now. So we have to look at social media where no everybody could talk real fast at one time. Even now, we're on stream, y'all, during the march. So we're in a different time. So we got to adjust, readjust, and get more sophisticated because they definitely sophisticated about us. When we came up with those seven principles, they came in seven mountains. They came up with seven ways to deflect it. Looking
Mm,
at the family, the church, the media, business, and all. I mean, so we have to really, really be to a point to where we see what's happening. We look at our Bible, look at our history. It simultaneously works with each other and tells us what we need to do and how we need to do it. Sometime now, out of all the sophistication we got, that old landmark, that old way, already done showed us what we could do to get out of it. So I'm glad to be here with y'all in the midst of this. We can continue to talk. I can hear y'all. Y'all can hear me. I thank God for the opportunity and thank God for y'all that are listening. But most of all, I thank God that we have a chance now to be the vice chairman. It's our time. And God has chose us for such a time as this. It ain't our ancestors no more. Now it's on us. And what we gonna do? That's the question.
great way to bring it in, sir. So I had my first question is: did you think we would be at this moment ever again in your lifetime?
When I won the 2008 lawsuit in Alabama, right, for people that have felony convictions to get their voting rights, for 106 years they had been taking people voting rights in jail and prison. Anybody that got a felony, and I won the lawsuit, got 6,000 people to vote for Obama the first time. I was able then to see a glimpse of light, but I knew then that Jim Crow wasn't gone. Convict leasing was definitely still in order, and I seen it come in the order of the day. When we came back with Alabama Solutions, showing the egregious and heinous acts that was going on inside Alabama prisons and prisons across this country, even with our women in Florida, Georgia, and everywhere else. When we seen that, and we seen the Department of Justice turn around and not do anything about it, I knew then we was headed the wrong way. That was about 2017, 18, 19. Then, when we came up in 2020, 22, and we had a former president that's now, I call him my poster child. I've been working on ex-felon voters' rights for 32 years. Now I got a man sitting in the White House as a president with 34 felony convictions. God has a funny way of doing things. He works in mysterious ways, don't he? But, but when I seen that, he was indicted. And the sitting president's son was indicted by the same Department of Justice. I knew then we was in trouble
Mm, mm.
because the question came up then, who they was they working for?
Say that
You
again.
understand? And then
Yes, sir.
mysteriously his charges went away. So I said, uh-oh, this is a little worse than I thought. We
Mm,
headed the wrong way. And things start happening simultaneously after that, if y'all think about it. When he got in office, we had trouble. And
okay.
most people, man, what to trip you out is most people, our color in Spanish, who he's targeting, were the main ones that voted for him. Sometimes we commit treason to ourselves and become our own oppressors. Yes,
Mm.
sir.
So the call today went out. I'm glad folks answered the call. The culmination of this is going to be a march to Montgomery and a rally there, correct?
Yeah, so we're going to march to the bridge now, go over the bridge and pray. Then we're going to go to Montgomery. Once we get to Montgomery, we're going to have a litany of speakers that's going to, plethora of speakers that's going to speak. And then from there, the question, as I said, is what's going to be deposited, what's going to be imparted, what's going to be taken away. because I'm looking at we got to do some strategy sessions. We got to do some education. We got to do some virtual online teachings. We got to do some organizing. We got to do some stuff behind it. Just coming here and having a big pep rally ain't worth a flip of beans
Hill of
if
beans,
we
right?
ain't got nothing behind it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
Yes, sir.
worth it to organize the people together, brother Sharpton. But just Pastor Sharpton, sorry, but after you get them there, that's when, as explained by the 10-point plan with the Black Panthers, once you get people together, that's when you organize them based on their best interests and what they know can make a positive change in a reality. So it's not. I disagree, Pastor Glasgow, that it's a hill of beans when you get the network of people together, speaking to each other, analyzing where they fit in the puzzle and the fabric of our new society, that is where they do it. It's hard to do it at home on their couches. It's hard to do it almost at all at their jobs. So when you guys have those arm in arm, locked in organizational meetings, pep rallies, as you just call it, what you do is you that is galvanization. Now, when you organize it, that's power. And I do believe
I agree with you.
you all are trying. So now this is what I want to know. You guys are going to end this march at some point, right? You end at a location, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
What is there to greet these
That's
invigorated,
exactly what I'm talking
except
about. Now that's where me and you meet at. Because that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I talked to Latasha Brown. She's my mentor. Dr. Barbara Unwine and Melanie Campbell just a few minutes ago. And I said, what they taking away? What is the takeaway?
Yes.
Because it's all right. Mobile. See, let me tell you something. I got a book out right now called Freedom Fighters, Organizing from the Inside Out. What you're saying, I love what you're saying. And I love the fact you disagree because it gives me the opportunity to say this. Mobilizing, everybody can mobilize. I love it. Preachers mobilize every Sunday, but they don't organize. And mobilizing is not organized. And from what you just said, you know that. Now, the question is, and the answer is, what do they leave with?
so
Mm.
at the end of this march, there's not a some
I'm
pamphlets
going to
from
make
different
sure that there is.
organizations.
I'm going to make sure that there is. And that's
Okay.
why I'm making sure I'm here along
All
with the
right.
rest of my crew here. You
Because
see in them yellow
I
shirts.
see, I see. Well, we're
Okay.
definitely here with you, Pastor. We definitely are receiving the message and telecasting it throughout the stratosphere. And I just need you to hear that um, I ain't seen these many black folks marching since George Floyd. How you get them black folks off that couch, man?
Well,
We
here's
have
the
we,
here's
we
here
did you
here's
tell them it was a
listen,
you told them it was a
listen,
line dance?
listen. This is something you got to understand. We do this in Selma every year, Bloody Sunday, and have anywhere from 50 to 75,000 people here every Bloody Sunday. Every Bloody Sunday. Plethora of workshops, trainings, teachings, education, and all. But what you said when you disagree with me is key. What is their takeaway, action plan, strategy, and organizational plan for them to take back home? They get it on Bloody Sunday. They've been getting it for my 32 years tenure. But evidently, it hasn't been implemented enough to motivate people to get out here and vote and prevent this. Let me say this. And I know you're gonna disagree with what I'm saying. I don't care what nobody say. We have contributed to the mess that we got ourselves in now.
Mm. No, you right. We
By
agree.
being silent, we've been complicit. By not participating and saying it ain't me, or it was just my nephew that got locked up, or saying that ain't got nothing to do with me when it happened to somebody else, or organizing, fighting against each other. Instead of completing each other, we're competing with each other for funds, trying to impress funders and all that kind of stuff, instead of focusing on the movement. So we ain't implementing no plan. We implementing a proposal. And so we contributed to this. Negroes got lax, thinking it was all right and forgot they were Negroes. I mean, let's just be honest. We're going to call it, let's call it. We do this in Selma every year. Every year. Randy Kelly right here. Randy Kelly, tell me we do this in Selma. How many times we do this?
every year.
every year. This is what we every year, Bloody Sunday, for 3 days and almost a week. You have anywhere from 50 to 75,000 people in Selma, and yet Selma is one of the poorest cities in the country. Now that's our fault because we're not putting money in the part where we need to put it. We done got corporalized in our organization. We big taking big salaries. They didn't do that back in the civil rights movement. They kept that money in the pot and kept everybody eating and going and growing. We didn't got corporatized. We getting big salary. We get more money than the corporate CEO. And talking about, well, I'm the biggest organizer. And you got the biggest salary too. So we contributed to this stuff.
And the least amount of output, right, brother?
I'm trying to say, so we have to look at this. What is our contribution to this? I look at my fault. I see what I did wrong. I had a real short man complex. And that ain't because I'm dexterity. That ain't because I'm horizontally challenged. That's because I had to me. Y'all look at me because I was trying to prove myself next to my brother. And I had to realize I wasn't my brother. I had to realize fighting for people that got family convictions is something he couldn't even fight for because he ain't even been there. When he did do it, he was treated like a king. So I had to realize my place in there. So where we contributed also is when we try to overstep our bounds and get out of our lane. Nobody have an accident till they go in somebody else's lane without using the turn signal.
There you go.
If we learn to stay in our lanes and what we best at and what we good at and what we should be doing, we could really organize an infrastructure, not statewide, but worldwide, nationwide, where this mess won't continue to happen. How we continuing to go through voting rights and getting an exception with the Voting Rights Act and not getting it implemented where we won't keep going through this 25 years and we still doing it. Our forefathers gave and ancestors gave us the blueprint. We ain't following it.
Mm.
Everybody want to have their own organization. The CT Vivian said that the 42nd Bloody Sunday at Tabernacle Church we just left. He said, you know why we don't have a movement no more? Because everybody want to build their own organization, have their own new formal church, and it's diluting our power. So I'm with you. I'm glad to see all these people come together. But where I'm not with you is I done seen this every year. Maybe it's different now that Negroes find out they really Negroes again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they understand it different now, and I hope so, because the oppression done turned up and the heat is on. But if we keep up with the same practice and patterns we've been doing, we're going to end up even worse.
Rodney, you had a question?
Pastor,
Take it.
I hear that you're out there, and I see that you're doing it, burning all some calories, and you got 4,999 other people out there with you doing it. And I want to go right back to where you started and left off at, and that is you've been doing this for 32 years, and this is
And there's
where
some
we
people been
find
doing it way longer
ourselves.
than me. Go ahead.
But this is where we find ourselves.
Yes, sir.
We could do it for another 32 years. And if this is where we find ourselves at now, maybe that's where we'll find ourselves in another 30 years, assuming that we still existing in this country. From this particular demonstration that you all are doing, what is the hard line once you come to the end of this particular road?
Unifying. And unifying is not just abstractly, not just coming together and unifying and like it's a barbecue, but unifying. I asked God a question. I said, God, I got people that got the same mindset as me. Why are we still going through this? Why is this? What am I doing wrong? What mistakes am I making? How am I contributing to the demise? And God saying, you keep looking for people got the same mindset, and I want you to look for people got the same heart set. blow my mind. True unity is when we got the same heart. Where we could disagree like me and my queen sister just disagreed, but we know that that's necessary without the offense. So we could move from that, grow from that, develop from that, educate from that. Unify. True unity is I accept you, you accept me. I pray for you, you pray for me, and we move each other, motivate each other, help develop each other, help grow each other. We done got to a point now we got to teach people without telling them we teach them, so they won't get offended. They
Mm.
gonna start doing their own thing, do their own Mars. So where we are now, I think this is one of the greatest moves at the greatest time. And I'll be damn if I allow it to continue to just be like it has been every year. This is a different space. And I agree with you, Queen Sister. And I'm gonna make sure that there's a takeaway because
So,
that's what's gonna make us better. Go ahead, sir.
so Pastor, I believe tomorrow is the anniversary of Brown v. Board of
Yes.
Education,
Yes, sir.
and a lot of work by our elders and our ancestors were put into creating that. And historians say a lot of what's going on, the angst of white people, is that there's a direct line back to that. But yet, I wonder though, what is the plan, the action plan, not just the plan, but the action plan, so that every year we don't graduate a new cohort of racists and white supremacists?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our
So
education system
yeah.
is 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 doing it. And in
Right.
some places, our education system is even more segregated now than it was back then. So
Yeah.
if we keep doing the same thing, we may
Mm.
wear out some more shoe leather, but will it get us to where we need to be?
So two things, my brother. One is, as far as the education system, we're building schools. We have schools, and we're trying to get them implemented in different communities throughout the South. This brother here, Jimmy Wofford, he has one in Atlanta. We have one in Dothan, Alabama. We got one by William Boyd in Montgomery, and we're doing that in because the public school system, let me tell you how blatant it is in Dothan, Alabama. It's so blatant down there that they're voting against getting them up to par. Their grade level is like fourth and fifth grade, and we're talking about ninth and tenth graders. They're number one as the lowest school system in the state of Alabama. Look it up, Google, fact check it. And they still voting against getting $600,000 that's laid up in their coffer for consultants, and they voting against it because it's four whites and three blacks on there. That's what for the education. Second thing I'm going to tell you, my brother, and y'all going to get the debut of it because I was going to announce it in Montgomery, but I go ahead and tell you now. We have a white guy, Tanner with Downing, came to me about due process, the Fifth Amendment, Dred Scott, and 14th Amendment, when they got our citizenship, and the 13th Amendment, the exception clause that I've been fighting for years. No man can be held under involuntary servitude or slavery except by for a felony conviction. When Collis came out in Louisiana, he said, Glasgow, I got it. I said, what you got? He said, man, call your brother. I said, what's up? This is what you got. He said, we got to tie it to the voting man. Because the due process he was talking about is that them prosecuting people by absence of grand jury. According to due process and according to the Constitution, everybody's supposed to go before that grand jury. Now we know, as melanated folk, that we don't get a chance to go before the grand jury. Only the prosecutor do. But according to the Constitution, we're supposed to have due process of going and presenting ourselves before our accusers, before it goes to court and before we get an indictment. Therefore, we shouldn't even be arrested by information, but by indictment. I said, boy, they ain't gonna never free all the slaves. Now you can forget that. But we could attach it to the voting right because that's how I won the voting rights in 2008 in the reddest state in America, which is Alabama, to where they could vote out of prisons and jails, change their absentee ballot, and change their whole political spectrum and voting apparatus. And it's the conclusion thereof. So there is a plan. The other thing that we have with the new National Christian Leadership Movement is to educate the churches. First of all, we have to deal with a lot of humble preachers, preachers that are willing to understand that they need to learn more, preachers that are willing to understand that the Bible is written and it got a lot of politics and social justice in it. Because if it wasn't politics and social justice in it, we have to take away Exodus. Moses
Mm.
went before Pharaoh. We got to take out Jeremiah, Daniel. We got to take out come a whole bunch more, and then we get to Jesus and Paul. It's a whole nother story. And each and every one of those prophets in there went to jail and prison. So we got to get a clear understanding of stop letting people label us, stop letting people categorize us, and stop letting people separate us. Because you say we getting segregated. I agree with that. That's why we doing the school. But my mother, 80 years old, told me, baby, it was so different when we was on our own. I said, what you mean by that, ma? You want to go back to segregation? I don't know about going back to segregation, but I sure know it was better for us.
Wow. Thomas, did you want to get in? Go ahead, bro. You on mute.
Hold on a
You
second.
want you want there you go.
Okay,
You
all
good.
right. All right. I just wanted to hop in. I was getting dressed for my son's graduation, and Pastor Glasgow was kicking it so hard. I said,
Yes,
God,
he is.
man, I had to just get on to salute you, brother, because you're right. And what I often try to teach our people is the reason why we could not get free on those slave ships was because we were speaking so many different languages from so many different tribes, trying to do our own thing when it was time to come and get free to fight our enemy who was trying to enslave us. We couldn't even communicate with each other. And when we find ourselves at today in a place where the women are talking a different language than the men are talking a different language than the children, and the family is not communicating whatsoever across the country. And so we're going to find ourselves back in shackles if we don't figure that out, because everyone does feel like they have to do their own thing. So I just wanted to salute you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna try to talk to Brother Lee, make sure we stay in contact with you. Brother Rodney's out in Vegas. I'm in Minnesota. Sister Rashi is inside of Missouri. Like, listen, we have to come together around the country and work together. That's just what that is. It does not matter the denomination. It does not matter the religion. It does not
That's
matter
right.
the Divine Nine chapter, the Masonic temple that you belong to, your class, nor your skin complexion. We have to come together, and the time is now. We don't have till tomorrow. So
I
thank you
wrote
for
it
your
down.
word.
I wrote it
Thank you,
down.
sir.
Pastor said, "Complete, help me complete." No, I want to complete you, not compete with you. I wrote it down. Pastor dropping gems. I'm writing it all down.
Yeah,
I'm getting all
Yes,
kinds of.
sir.
appreciate it. I'm gonna get back off, y'all, so I can get ready
I
for
know,
this
peace.
graduation. But
I just have
man,
to.
so powerful, man, so powerful. Thank you, Pastor, for coming
So,
on us.
Thank you, sir. Let me show
so
y'all a site, and this is a site we see all the time. And it's different now. It feels different now. It tastes different now. We got to make it different now. Where my queen sister at? See the site?
Edmund Pettus
You know how
Bridge.
long we've been fighting Edmund
Yeah.
Pettus Bridge? Edmund Pettus was the grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan that fought against us. You know how long we've been trying to fight to change that name? And we got some young folks now. So Glasgow will run up there and we'll take that sign down. I said, oh,
And,
don't do it. They're going to lock you up. I
all
got
right.
bond yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brother Glasgow. That's exactly where I want to lead you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So the fight you're talking, even you, 32 years, that means you're a legend, you're a veteran in the game, yes? And so in order for this to be the next 32 years, like Brother Rodney was talking about, that means there has to be a 2-year old baby in that crowd right now that you all are prepared to enfold and entrance and educate with the knowledge of civil rights development and what it means to be, so may I propose that when you do find something they can take away, that some component of it is this griot like tradition of passing a mission down to the youth so that they in turn can keep your march afloat. And if there ever is even if we finally get these nations to recognize what they have done and begin the process of repair, we still have that tradition and people willing to get in the line to march. But that has to happen by touching the youth. And I just want to ask you, do you have something for those babies, for those 2, 3, 4, 10-year-olds in the crowd who are thinking that marching, that's old people stuff, but me standing with them now as a 10-year-old is actual the power? Do you have a youth vein to this motion?
Can you hear us, sir?
Come on. Come on. That's what
I
I'm
think we
talking about.
I think we maybe have some technical
Yes,
difficulties. Pastor, can you hear us?
I can.
Yeah, but I don't think he can. Pastor, can you hear us?
Till we get to that edge.
Okay. I think we lost his. I think he
Pause.
lost his
Till we
audio.
get to the edge right here, y'all.
All right, Pastor.
Pause.
Um. Oh, this is powerful. Can you hear us, sir?
Here you go.
Yeah, I think we
I
lost
need
him.
this.
Look, we got good with him. I'll make sure he comes back on at another time. Uh, I want to thank him though publicly for coming on today. He was spot on. Thank you, Pastor Glasgow. We will move on. I will definitely give you a call later, and I will see you later. All right, we'll move on. Look, y'all. We
Wow.
he look. What can we
Wow.
do?
Hey man,
What,
that was some decent journalism there. All right.
hey,
That
I be
that's
working out here. What you think? I be
Hey,
slacking?
hey,
I be
brother
working.
Rodney, that almost gave me some civil right. That almost got my revolutionary feelings beaming and tingling. You know, that's dangerous in these days to get people feeling revolutionary.
I'm about to go in my closet and get my afro wig.
Okay, okay. I think I had already put my fist in the air, and it's because that's exactly what I was telling the brother. It's something about black people standing right next to each other under one mission, pushing forward against something that other people say is not. Now, today it ain't nothing but the sun whooping their ass. But
So
yesterday it was. But yesterday it was. It was YT, and you know what I'm saying. And he had his Do. He had his K9, and they was wearing that ass out. You know what I'm saying. So I'm just so excited to see it without the chaos and the gore.
I want to say this. Pastor said, same mindset. Stop looking for people with the same mindset. Start looking for people with the same heart set. Dog, that needs to be on the t-shirt everywhere. Like he needs to put that out on merch, get it out there. I'm stealing it. I'm telling them right now, I'm stealing it. Definitely using that, and I'm using the other one because man, when he said, "I need you to not compete with me, but to complete me," dog, that's a mic drop right then and there. Like, are you serious right now? That needs to be on a freaking t-shirt. That is crazy, but it's spot on. Why? And again, it goes to the disconnect that we constantly have. Why is it all this damn friction? Why is it all everything ain't got to be the same in order for us to work together? I tell people that about us, Rodney, all the time.
Yeah.
When you're in service, everybody around you does not believe the same thing you believe. They don't think that they're
But
not
they
from
are
the same
united
background.
under a mission, a government national mission that in fact in this country is one of the most feared unities there are. They don't nobody want Americans to get together and come and get to fight and some shit because we are
I don't know about that.
we're not,
Iran
we're
is
not,
really
we're
Iran is
renowned
kicking
for
our ass
defense.
without kicking our asses right about now.
And
Iran
that's
is
one of
kicking
the
our
things
asses
I
without
wanted to
kicking our
talk
asses.
to y'all about. I wanted to discuss today this idea of the recession. You understand, of inflation, of a silent inflation, and how it
Okay.
pushes and how that
Oh, it ain't
push.
silent. Every time you go to the gas tank, it's real loud.
Because
It
it's
ain't silent.
hidden, some of it is real like that. Because today we are at almost $5 here in Kansas City Metro. We have I think 530 something right now, which is the most everybody. It ain't no car. I think I'm seeing a car every 5 minutes here. Okay, because nobody is driving. No, at least nobody in my community is out trying to have no summer ride. And it's
How is the
really
mass transit system there though? Is
all
it
right. So now
appropriate?
they have already decided they can no longer. We had got it. I call it municipalized, when so that our transit system was a part of our city work, right? Like the
Hmm.
water
Hmm.
system or whatever.
Hmm.
It's the gas then made it to where they have to charge us again. Our tax bond with the city, our agreement with our what we will pay the city in order to keep that municipalized, is already blown past the budget to keep enough drivers in the route in service. And so now here's the caveat. If you really want to see the bullshit in action, there has to be cuts, right? I mean, come on now. It has to be cut. Something has to be cut. The budget don't work. They're in the black. What gets cut? The route to from the poor community to the affluent. We have several routes that take us from the east side, where we are concentrated, over to where we have to make our money in the west, in the north, and in the south, and sometimes the far east. And so once you have cut the budget so that I have to call it Uber. I have to call a taxi, or I have to walk substantially longer from the bus stop than I used to. That's cutting off our elders from being able to keep their job. It's a whole thing. But so the gas alone has caused a problem in Kansas City. And that is why we have a green car initiative. If you get yourself one of them Teslas or whatever, you know what I'm saying? A Prius.
Right.
If you get one of them, that's what I call it when you step on the thing. You don't go vroom, it go wee.
Stop talking about
Anyway,
my car, Rashi. Stop talking about my
okay,
car
all right.
now.
Well, you know what I'm talking about though. You know exactly what the hell I'm talking. Anyway, exactly what it's supposed to say. No, while I'm joking, it don't have to go vroom. Vroom is killing us. Vroom vroom is killing us. But anyway, let me not digress. So yes, the gas prices. So the silent pieces of this war. Listen, them girls' is hair. Get ready. Them braids is gonna be in a long time. Mr. Rodney, you go to that hair store. That edge control that went up $2. That girl gonna be slicking them. She just gonna brush them back. She can't afford no nine
There's
ninety
some
nine edge
Vaseline
control,
on it.
baby. Okay. Y'all finna start seeing real women, because that makeup is expensive. All that fake them lashes, them Chinamans then tax the Timu tax, then put them lashes above the. Okay, let me. Okay, do I have
You
to? You
no,
on
you be coming up with some of the crazy.
the Timu tariff tax? The Timu tariff tax.
I'm with you. I'm
Come
with you.
on.
I love it. I'm not
What?
laughing because
What?
I'm laughing because
Every
it's
time
funny.
you
I
laugh at
love
me,
it.
I think you making fun of me.
No,
Anyway,
I love it. That shit was hilarious. Right? She said
the
the Timu.
Timu tariff tax got them lashes all the way expensive,
Oh
and
shit.
you got to route them through Korea and shit so you can get your black eye back, your eye get your appeal on. Let me tell you that it's getting costly out here to play these games. And so you finna see women not in them cute little shoes, but the ones that they make in the back of the store where they bust the heel down when they at the concert. You about to see a lot of zippers busted in the back from the machine, from the it's about to get real out here, because we can no longer afford high quality stuff with the additional price markup and the tax, so that we can pretend and play the American cute store or cute game or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Right, hold on, Rashi. Thomas is back on. We gotta get him in because you know his time is limited, and he jumped on for a reason. Go ahead, Thomas. Did you hear the Timu tax? Did you hear
I
the
did.
Timu?
I did. I did. I just want to make sure that we understand, though, what's happening. And I have to say this to us because sometimes we have a propensity of pointing the finger at each other. And this is the time to look at what the real issue is. White supremacy is the problem. And I don't
Period.
have no
Point blank period.
after the Kevin Hart roast, I ain't got time to joke about it because ain't shit funny. And until we start understanding that, they say in a room full of people, the weakest person is the one that has to break the silence because they're worried. We don't have to always break the silence with a joke. This is nasty right now. Let's talk about the manure where folks ain't gonna be able to eat. Let's really get to it. Where everybody will be talking about throwing away abundance of foods. And in the Twin Cities right now, this is gala time. Or we're going around here spending $250 a ticket to go sit at somebody else's table to have a bunch of food thrown away and not being aware of the situation and the scenario. We have to become serious people. And I think John Henry Clark was correct. We are just immature when it comes to politics. And that's just our problem. So I look at what the pastor then was doing, and I think we should be trying to do that around the country. I've said this, and I'm glad Brother Al Flowers have taken the initiative. And yes, I'm saying Al Flowers. I know many of you out there may not respect the brother, but I respect the fact that he is putting things together so Black folks can talk in the room, minus white folks, to strategize and implement what we need to do. But more people need to be doing that around the country. You shouldn't wait till you're down to your last loaf of bread. You shouldn't wait till you're down to your last 3 eggs. You shouldn't wait until they start taking things away. These things were warned to us that it was going to happen. We were told it was going to happen. And what happened? Just like the Titanic, people still wanted to dance and play the music as the ship is sinking. And we are the first group of people. Oh man, but here's the thing: we're not even comfortable. That's the funny part about it. We're tricking ourselves as if we're comfortable.
The perception, absolutely, yes, sir.
For the illusion of inclusion.
Yep.
Because we want to feel like we're included in the situation, in the scenario, but our demise is being picked for us. So, for me, I'm listening to the pastor. I'm thinking about what's happening with some of these rulings when it comes to voting, what they did in Virginia. I'm looking and seeing exactly what happened inside of Tennessee, where they removed all of our people from committees that's important to the folks who voted them in, and really just snatching their rights. Reminded me last year of Texas, where they held those people hostage because they were trying to flee, or they threatened to put subpoenas out for them for their arrest as if they were runaway slaves. I'm going to ask again, are we really? Because right now, Black people are going out like the dodo bird. We may be the smartest in the room. Hey, sisters, y'all might have the most degrees, and brothers, you might feel like you the sharpest. But are we really? Because what's the point of having all of that if we're not going to put it together for our own salvation and our own restoration as people? So now, the time is now, and I say this because I know sometimes we kind of drift as a community into things that really don't mean shit. But we got to be serious, y'all. And I'll ask the question again. When somebody like Trump is on the ballot and we know he hates our people, the idea that any of us, and I watched the Chris Rock tape, I watched the Charlemagne, the God tape, I've watched so many takes, the Teslin Figueroas. We got so many grifters, y'all. The grift is real. The grift goes like this, and I'll say this, and I'll sit back. I got waiting on my youngest boy. This is how siblings do each other. Somebody's always trying to be on the next person's time, so I'm waiting on him so we can ride over here. And he's still at the job. Hopefully he'll make it here in 30 minutes. But with that being said, the grift is real because in politics, what has happened is Black folks who have inserted themselves into politics to make money. That's how you get the Van Jones and his commentary. Notice how his commentary way. You get the Charlemagne the guys to make you think the Breakfast Club is talking about something, but notice how the politics way. You get the Tesla Figueroa. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's brilliant. She's thick. She's da 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 da. But listen how everything weighs. You get we got so many grifters grifting to us information. Never a direction. No one never wants to take a side. That's how you know the grift is real. Because they don't, when someone says they're principal people, Lee, Rodney, Rashi, they typically stand on the side. What side are you on? The grifters don't pick a side. The grifter says either everybody's wrong or everybody's right because they want everybody's money. And that's how you know where the grift is at. And they do it time and time again. And they'll come out here now and they'll say, oh, Trump is what he's doing is insane. But let's go back to the election and what you were giving Trump like you didn't have Trump before. So we have to understand in our community, especially in this content space, our liberation cannot be equated to content. The selling of content is not more important than Brother Rodney having the right to vote inside of Las Vegas and me having the right to vote inside of Minnesota. Because once we start breaking our freedom down to $1 and it's the white man's dollar, then guess what? We'll never be able to afford it. And that's my 2 cents. I'm gonna sit back here. I got some time, so I ain't got to go too far since I wait on this damn boy.
All right, so I want to go this way with what you just said. Texas. The Supreme Court of Texas recently handed Abbott a defeat. They said that the Democrats that left in the protest of redistricting could not lose their seats arbitrarily. So they get to maintain their seats. What I've thought about just the other day, how is it that we being black folks in America, constantly represent 13 to 16% of the nation? How is that even possible? How is that even possible? We don't control the numbers, first and foremost. They're playing with the numbers, secondly, because, they are willing to let anybody and everybody in that white category just to keep down the black category. Third, they've moved the goalposts. Remember one drop rule? Well, that no longer applies because they need those numbers too. So how reflective really is that of our position? We look at Mississippi, we look at Tennessee, we look at Alabama. Places where there's Louisiana too, places where there's a large concentration of black folks. How do you then say to them, as Rashi was explaining earlier about the maps in Missouri, their votes don't count in essence, because now you're taking away from the potential of their representative, the person that they would elect to represent them, to even be able to represent them. The most concerning part about this is we've let it happen. We have been so disconnected. We have stayed so far away from the political realm, as you said, Thomas, as the pastor said, Rodney, you agreed with, I agree with, Rashi agrees with, that this has been by design, but by default, it has happened because we have allowed it to happen. It has happened because we have not been strong enough with our voice saying this, that, and the third. We are not going to do this. You are not going to do that, so on and so forth. As we opened up the show today, I said, I voted yesterday before I left. Why did I vote yesterday before I left? Because voting in Georgia for us happens May 19th. I'll be in Louisiana. I gotta be in New Orleans. If I have an opportunity to get with some folks down there about the gerrymandering, I'll do some reporting from down there as well. But if I can't, then it's okay. I have a graduation to attend. I was not going to not let my voice be counted just because I was out of town. I was not going to allow that minor discomfort of me going out of my way in order to vote again turn away my voice from being counted. I cast my vote. One of the things that I noticed going in, this is something that we all need to pay attention to when we vote. So I am an independent voter. So I go up. It says choose your ballot. I do nonpartisan, right? The poll worker was like, "Do you understand? If you do nonpartisan, the only thing you're going to get are judges." I go, what? Huh? The poll worker was like, "I need you to understand. The only thing you're going to get are judges if that's what you choose." So he said it again. I was like, "Oh, shit, I got to pick a side." So I picked the side and I cast my ballot. Is that happening in other places? I asked that question because the last time I voted, which was the primary, no, it wasn't. It was the general. Yeah, right. General, no, primary. It was the primary. Now it's the general primary. I got a very small ballot. I was like, damn, that was odd. But I selected nonpartisan. So that time, the poll worker did not tell me that that's all I was going to get. So I'm like, oh snap, got you. So you got to. Now my concern with that is, are they going to dismiss my vote? They're going to remove my vote from the. Now I saw that it counted because I saw the counter, right? But I'm just saying, is somebody going to play with the machines a little bit? Somebody going after the type of ballot I chose? I don't know. That's a problem. That's a problem, especially as we go through this bull crap that we're going through right now with the um, the Supreme Court and how they're moving. Because they moving shady as shit right about now. Rock can say all he want to say about them not being political actors, but they damn sure look like it. They damn sure look like it to the public. Because a lot of the crap that they're pushing out right now does not carry the weight of the public sentiment. And it's not weighed in precedent. They're going against precedent to push what they want, not what the people want. And not what the press established precedent already had. There were a couple of rulings that came out this week. They the VA allowed veterans to get medicinal marijuana. Supreme Court allowed folks to continue to have birth control access through the mail. That was huge. That was huge. Where do these cats stand though over the long run is the biggest issue that we're running into. That is just as uncertain as the president on the economy right now. And that should be on every American's mind because they do. What did Chuck D say? And then it occurred to me that the suckers had authority. They do have authority over your life. Their decisions will impact your life in some form or fashion. And as you said, Thomas, you shouldn't have to wait till you're down to your last loaf of bread, your last couple of eggs to stand up and fight. Though this does not hit you now, let's talk about the abortion pill. Though this does not hit you now, what happens when that's your daughter? What happens when that's your granddaughter? What happens when that's your niece? What happens when that's your aunt? What happens when that's your wife? This is why we have to defend these things now. Don't wait till later. It's more difficult later. Later may not come until it's too late for you. I don't get it. Rodney, what you got to say?
I mean, I'm with you. The I guess this is would be my point. We don't have time to wait.
None.
There is no tomorrow. Either we do it now or it won't get done.
Today is tomorrow.
We got to look at this. Dr. King talked about the fierce urgency of now. When they took the voting rights or when they gutted it, I thought there was going to be people. I was going to see the Congress people and the community leaders. I said, this is the moment. This is the pain right here that enough is enough. Now, I don't know about where you all are, but I can tell you where I am. You wouldn't even know the Voting Rights Act had been gutted.
Swear to God. Swear
I
to God.
don't I don't hear my elected officials rallying us together, trying to get us to organize, reaching out to the organizations. I don't see the organizations reaching out to the organizations. I don't see the people pushing the elected officials to reach out to the organizations to get. I'm not seeing it. So at the gathering, one of the questions was, are Democrats doing enough? The answer was no, but that was followed up by, but are we doing enough?
Mm.
And even to our small group here, it's like I told them at the gathering, suppose we're the only ones who know. Well, if we're the only ones who know, and we know that we know because we're around each other talking about it, then what are we doing? Not them, but what are we doing? And if we say, well, I'm doing a lot already, okay, won't deny it. But if you're the only ones, then that means you need to do more because whatever you're doing now is not working well enough.
It ain't getting to the people. You're right.
So that's nobody's coming to save us because the laws that were made to save us, they just got rid of it. And if they got rid of, I was telling somebody before, and I mentioned it, think with Brother Barry or somebody said, in 1965, the Voting Rights Act was passed. Only about 6% of Black people in places like Mississippi voted. 6%. In 68, that was up to 60%, a 600% increase because the Voting Rights Act was passed. Well, now that they've gutted the Voting Rights Act, and now that the dude 45 has said he's going to send an army of poll watchers. See, when I heard him say an army of poll watchers, I thought, oh, he said
Proud
he's sending
Boys.
an army of night riders and not the
Proud
car.
Boys.
That's what he's sending. Remember those militia people said that they're standing back and was it stand back and stand by, but they're waiting on his order.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said time and time again that their manifesto said that they need to have 4,000 rounds for every caliber of weapon that they have. This election is coming up, and this is their last stand because they even said it. Hey, if he loses, he'll be impeached, and it won't just be him. Are we ready? Are people who are in the know telling the people who aren't, and are they getting them ready? Well, let's take the rhetoric out of it, the rhetorical spin from it, and let's call it like it is. We better be getting ready, and those people in the know better be telling all the other people, and the people who can organize better start organizing now.
I was, as you said that, I was thinking about the other side of it, right? Because black folks were called out this week, I believe, about not having enough sexual relations by a white congressperson. And if what you're saying, I believe to be a very high potential of happening in the very near future. But I'm also thinking about our lack of coming together to protect ourselves via family and making those family ties so that we can be a force, not just a one off here, a one off there. Um, Still need to work on it. Definitely need to work on it. And understand that the family unit still has a place in America and this world. And it's for a reason. You want to have, you need to have that family unit for a reason. So,
Well,
Rashi,
you
what you
know,
got?
Go ahead, Brother Barry.
well, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. First thing I want to touch on is you're right, Rodney. Organizations should come together. People should strategize. The problem typically, thanks to my brother Mujahs and his wife, the Black Family Blueprint, is the disruption of Black intimacy, and that's not just on the sexual level, by white dollars. And people are not organizing anymore from the heart. That's going back to the grift piece, where you get the Tamika Mallory's of the world and the rest of the grifters. Uh, it's based off of the dollar. People only can now organize when the dollar's there. So that's why I was proud of seeing what I was seeing in Alabama, because you don't get to see that on camera a lot anymore. You don't get to see people coming together. And as he said, they come together every year. We don't get to see that on camera. So it's good to know that that's happening. The piece about the Black family and the thing about the sex, which I thought was funny, Lee, coming from this white man saying that about Black folks and sex. I mean, isn't that the angst for them? Isn't that what Francis Cress Welsing taught us white supremacy and racism is about? It's about reproduction. It's about them worried, the fear of the Black penis, and our us over populating the country. Did you know in Minnesota they've broken up Black folks in category where some people are calling themselves biracial? So when you look at the numbers being watered down, maybe it might be the same in other states where Black folks are doing what Rashi called for in the first place, but the numbers are going to get screwed up because the white mom don't put the child down as Black. They put the child down as biracial or white. So we don't have an accurate way to know whether our numbers are growing or our numbers are diminishing. And part of that is because we have not been good stewards, as the pastor was saying. We have to blame ourselves. Our arrogance and our ignorance is a bad marriage, and it's really been kicking our ass when it comes to growth. With that being said, it's nothing that we can't do. And that's the main thing that we have to understand. We can come from up under this if we hunker down. We just have to choose the time as now to hunker down so that we can strategize, mobilize, and organize, as he said, but also make sure that we never forget. I heard Brother Rodney talked about the white supremacy in schools being taught. And I understand that, but the other side of it is it's worse because we're not teaching our children. I could teach the white man all day long, but what happens when we stop teaching our kids? When our children don't understand our history, when our children don't understand the importance, when we got Black celebrities who are constantly, yelling and talking about, I don't want to see another slave movie after Emancipation came out, after 12 Years a Slave came out, because they said we were beyond that. Where are those people at now? Where are those people at now? So that's where I feel like that's our problem. It's us. I can't talk about the white man anymore because this all starts with us. We either gonna live together or we gonna die together. Now, when we die, how we gonna die together? It's gonna be everybody partying over here. Some folks are gonna be studying over there. Some people go over there gonna be starving over there, and some people over there is gonna be incarcerated over there. But we're not going to be coming together as one, and that's what we have to do. My favorite rapper of all time, I say the greatest rapper of all time, not my favorite, Tupac Shakur. He would always say we need to get military minded. And I agree with Tupac. We need to be military minded. And this is the time for us to do that. But what I see on the social media platforms, I see a deeply divided group of people. And there's nothing that we can do as a collective if we're going to be this divided. Rodney, you hear Nicole back there yelling like she live in my house? Yeah, something wrong with the hell wrong with her.
I thought you had some news for us, brother.
Not
So, hold
that
on.
kind of goddamn news.
So, Rodney, you put in the chat, you said dildos is a multi-billion-dollar growth industry. What sparked that? What sparked that comment?
First of all, it was the pastor's comment. There's plenty of sex being had, and white people not making enough babies. I think they're down to like 1.64%. So they're not making enough babies. We cannot. This country cannot sustain its economy without immigrants. Sex is happening. So there's plenty of sex going on. We don't need to supply the slave industry with more slaves. So there is a problem with so many people disassociating themselves sexually from one another. There is a problem with that. There's a relationship problem. But we don't need to have children just to have children either,
Correct. Correct.
because then we're feeding the beast that don't want to help our children, that just wants to incarcerate our children, right? Want to send them and miseducate them so that they'll turn against their own people, because
Foster them out.
that's how they grow their numbers. When you look at the number of black people who say 45 isn't that bad, oh, he's great, he's done this, you get pastors saying it's not a golden calf when I'm looking at the golden calf. When you get black people doing that, right? So this is not just about increasing the numbers. As a matter of fact, it might be just the opposite, because there's different types of growth. Swelling is unhealthy for the body. So we don't need to swell. Matter of fact, we need to get rid of the fat, go on a diet, and build
Stop
up the
talking about
muscle.
me. Stop
I'm
talking about me.
just
I
I
don't
was
appreciate
like,
it.
shots fired.
You know
Hey,
what I'm saying? Like,
your
we did not
grandparents should
do
be
that
seeing
right
you
now.
too.
hey, I tell you what, check
Yeah, it's
this
right in the
out.
shower.
When these Proud Boys start whipping up on us, right? And because I don't know about you all, but I was a pugilist growing up. And you have to have stamina, especially if you're fighting more. You need stamina to fight one person. You need that much more stamina when you're fighting two people. And then if the people you fighting have stamina and you don't, it's like you're fighting 3 or 4 people. So we need to get our minds right and get our heads in the game. They declared war on us. They declared war on us physically, economically, bodily autonomy, in any way that they could have. They have declared war on us. We need to recognize we're at war, and then we need to get ourselves into shape to fight, not just mentally, not just intellectually, but yes, I'm saying it on the show. We need to be ready to throw some hands, and don't bring hands to a gunfight. So let's get real with it, and let's push our so-called leaders to get real with it. The economy is inflation gonna eat away at people's disposable income. How are they going to eat? Fertilizer isn't making it to the fields. Where's the food coming from? Supply and demand. The less food that you have, the greater the demand, the greater the cost. Well, salaries aren't increasing, they're going down. And they said, oh, Americans are spending money. It's just their credit cards. Eventually, that's going to flip where you're paying more on your credit card than you're bringing in, because people are paying for basic necessities. Gas to get to work is a basic necessity. I
I
put
agree with that.
I put 3/4 of a tank of gas in my van that you all love so much, and it cost me $72 for
No,
three
Topi.
quarters of a
No,
tank.
Topisha didn't.
Yes,
Whoa!
and that's not on the high test like we used to say back in the day. That was on the
How much is
regular.
regular costing?
Dude, I put 3/4 of a tank of gas. I measured it. It would have cost me $102
All right, Brother
and
Bear.
change for me to fill up my tank if I'd have been on E. Busted a Benjamin wide open.
Topisha know better.
Good Lord.
All right, y'all. I'm out now. He's ready to
All right.
go.
All
Sorry
right,
about this.
Tom. Thank you, Brother
Hey,
Bear.
congratulations to you,
Congratulations,
your
bro.
son, the former, and the whole family, because it took a family to get him here.
Man, listen, let me say that. The whole family. And family, friends, and surrounding. And I can't stress that enough. That's the beauty of being black in this country. We have to embrace us, not the idea what they sell us in their universities and their colleges. Our reality. We got to get back to our reality and stop believing in the matrix. With that being said, I'm going to just get off, Lee, and everybody can be able to do what they do. And then when you end out, it'll be it. But hey, man, I love y'all people as well. And salute to all you guys and y'all children and the success and all the things that you guys do. But let me go ahead and talk trash to this boy all the way there for having me late. All right, y'all.
All right.
Talk to y'all later. Peace.
Peace. So yeah, I I'm shocked that it cost you $78 for 3 quarters of a tank. Like, goodness gracious, damn, bro. That
And
makes
it's
the
going to
hit
get
you better.
higher, and it's going to get higher faster.
So
People
what I
people will
what I've
not be able
seen
to afford to go to work. Think about that.
what I've seen is folks are going around the Strait of Hormuz. I think Saudi Arabia or Iraq moved 10,000 barrels of oil, but what they did was they went through Africa. I think that's the move that a lot of folks are looking to make. I think it's going to be a huge growth opportunity for the various African nations. My concern
Yeah,
about that
yeah. I
is
heard Nigeria ready to do business.
is the corruption that may happen and make it more expensive than it needs to be in order for that to go through. But I see that happening big time. I was looking at a map the other day and I was like, well, hell, why the hell are people even going there? Like, if there's infrastructure, there are other places that you could stop to get your goods and move them. Maybe a little longer, obviously adding to the cost, but at least you'll keep shit moving and you don't have to worry about the street. Um, That though is going to cut America out because the petrodollar was the actual American dollar. So I think we are going to suffer mightily in the very near future for this. I was thinking this the other day too. Does the MAGA movement love America so much that they are willing to kill it? Let me finish. Let me finish. That they are willing to kill it because it's not what they want it to be. I had that thought just popped in my mind the other day. Like, that is so crazy, but I could see that. I could see people so focused on what they want a thing to be that because it's not what they want it to be, they are hell bent on destroying it in order for them to remake it in the image that they have in their minds. That's where I was going at with that. That's it. That's all. It wasn't anything more deep than that. But it it's the only thing that I can think of that explains what's happening right now. They're killing this country. They're killing this country. And yeah, Marlon, they only wanted to kill Black America. I get that. But most folks understand that we all do better when we all do better. There's no way to take us out of the equation in America to continue to be successful. It's not going to happen. Go ahead, Rodney.
See, Lee, you're trying to make what's illogical logical, and it doesn't fit. They don't. First of all, they don't love the country. They, and they've already proven that they're willing to kill each other to get to us, and that they're even willing to sacrifice their own lives to get to us. From the very beginning, I said it's, when people are saying, well, it's okay if they go after them people, them immigrants, they don't belong any place. From the very beginning, I said, nah, we need to be out there fighting for them because they're using them to come after us. Because once we say, yeah, go after them, then they do just what they did. They broaden the criteria of the them. And so it's not just the most deviant criminals. They lower the threshold and then they keep expanding until next thing you know, they're openly after us. So they've proven that they're willing to cut their nose off to spite their face as long as they get to Black people. They're willing to
Mm.
take their own women's right to vote away. Look at Leaky Pete, your mama call you trash, Hepsef's pastor, who said women don't need to vote. All they need to do is be in that kitchen, flipping them biscuits and spitting out them babies. And if you violate that, a la Sons of
Spitting out,
Jacob from The
spit,
Handmaid's Tale,
spitting
we'll
out them
put you in
babies.
jail.
Spitting out them babies. Which never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, and tossing the biscuits. But this is happening in real time. What used to be fictionalized books and TV series is right before our face. So we were talking last night at the gathering, and my daughter was telling me. She said, "Have you look at the series called The Boys, and you will see
Okay.
a direct parallel with the dude in The Boys and the dude that's tearing down the White House right now." The Testaments from the Handmaid's Tale is out there showing us what a theocratic America would look like, how people would be treated. It's right there for us. Octavia Butler in Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents showed us what life would be like after these things go into effect. So the blueprints all around us.
Okay.
I come back to the same thing. It's not about them anymore because them are doing what they do. It is about us and what we are doing and what we're going to do and that we're going to do now and not tomorrow. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put up today. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make some calls to my local folks here and tell them, like the pastor said, we need to have a meetup. But when we come out of that meetup, we need to come out with the strategy, the tactics for our action plan on how we're going to protect ourselves, how we're going to ensure that our people get to vote. Because if they do voter intimidation with those poll watchers with guns, a lot of people aren't going to go. Well, maybe we need to have some guns to make sure that our people have safe passage. We got to talk real about it and we got to be about it. They are. We gotta do like we've always done. We gotta be Jesse Owens. We gotta run past them. Otherwise, they're gonna run over us.
Mm. Rashi, what you got? We need to close out. We got 4 minutes left.
And thank you for the notification. Uh, Thank you all for a very interesting show today. I learned a lot. What my takeaway was from Pastor Glasgow was to get into your lane and stay in it and enhance it and encourage other people to see that lane as valid, teach it, and make sure that other people see that that lane that you chose for yourself is not you intimidating trying to be somebody else. And I really appreciated that knowledge because he somewhat talked about living in his brother's shadow and how he had to figure out his own. He was in the same struggle. He knew the struggle, but he didn't understand where his actual lane was. And I struggled like that myself to figure. I knew it was the struggle. I'm not crazy, but what is my lane? My lane was education. I'm coming to an end of my ninth year tenure. I call it tenure because I decided to go in every day, not because somebody else recognized it. And so I thank you, brothers, for my learned my lesson today. It was actually quite nice.
Rodney, what you got? Closing it out.
Find whatever it is that you can do, get to doing it, and then find somebody else and help them do theirs.
Precise. I'm gonna read yours, then I'm gonna go out with the show. All the races, you corrected yourself, so I'm gonna read it correctly. All the races know they need us. They just want to make sure we stay at the bottom. We've been advancing too much. Then once they saw the LGBTQ plus community get theirs, and that was it. Time to chop the tree down to a stump again. I got you, family. And this is what we're seeing for real, for real. Look, y'all. I want to thank our guests for coming on, Pastor Glasgow. Thank you, Thomas. Congratulations once again to your son and your family for getting this done. I'm sorry, coming to the end of this and getting this thing done. Thank you all for watching live or later. As we always say about this time, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us wherever you go because that's where we at too. Look, if ain't nobody told you they loved you today, we do it, ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Until next week, family. Peace.